All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am super excited because we have some very special guests tonight that are going to talk to you about geeking out on gear. We have an entire panel. You're not going to want to miss these amazing, incredible live streamers. And thank you so much for being here. I already see a couple of folks that are in the comments. Yes. Ooh, that's a big old comment. Let's make that be resized a little bit. Hi, everyone. Can't wait for the show to start. Animal Paradise. We are super excited that you're here. Thank you for being here with us. So, look, let me tell you just really quickly about what the show is all about. And then I need to bring my guest on because I can't, I'm just like, itchy with joy, ready to get them on screen. Live stream summer school was a little thing that I thought up at the beginning of the summer because I thought, hey, why not pull people together for these different panels to talk a little bit about what it means to be a live streamer, how to actually get started, the best gear and tools that you can use. And also, I wanted to share some quick tutorials on the best platforms for you to use. So, look, if you've been to any of my shows before, I want you to type in hashtag OG. And if you're new to the show, which we do usually every Thursday. We've been doing it like clockwork for about 2.5, almost 3 years now. I want you to type in newbie if you're new and OG if you've been here before. But Stream Like a Boss TV is our normal show, and we're doing this special show, Live Stream Summer School, just for you. So tonight we have a streaming panel. And I'm about to bring them on and let each of them introduce themselves so that we can talk about gear from our own different, unique perspectives. And you can learn a little bit more about ideas and possibilities for what may work for you. Thank you so much. Let me pop up a couple of really quick comments. Yes, Dan said Tatiana highlights the panel. Look at that. Debbie, looking forward to this. There's so many people here. I got to bring the folks on, y'all. So look, this is what I want you to do. While I prepare to bring them on, I want you to go grab your favorite hydration, whatever that is, because you're going to be here for a second. I want you to grab a notepad and a pen and get ready to take some notes and be prepared to ask some questions because I know that everyone here is generous with their time and wants to give you the resources you need to be successful. So let's get started with Livestream Summer School, our second panel of the summer. Geek out on gear. I'll see you on the other side of this video with our entire panel and we'll introduce ourselves. All right, see you in a second. All right, all right, all right. What's up? Look.
That's fun.
I gotta give you all some love and just tell you how much I just appreciate you being here and giving of your time. We're gonna take a second to have everyone introduce yourselves, and we'll go in clockwork order if that's okay. There are a lot of comments. So there's some folks that are ready to meet you and to hear from you about geeking out on gear. So JP, I want to start with you, and then I definitely will acknowledge some folks that are in the chat to say hello. But let's acknowledge you and talk a little bit about who you are. If you can share with the folks a little bit about your bio, that would be great.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you, Tanya, for this invitation. I'm all about tech. I'm all about, the behind the scenes and the magic that allows us to create those amazing things and empowering creators to do those things. So very honored to be here tonight and share my expertise, knowledge, and experience when it comes down to these type of things. My name is JP Hightek for the folks that do not know me. I am a global branding and media expert. So what I do is I work with, individuals, small companies, and organizations. What I do is help them, dominate the competition and really build a premium brand, right? And we do that through my media agency called Perfect Zone Productions, located here in the state of Tennessee. All right. And so we allow them to leverage a couple of things. And among those things, we have live video, content creation, marketing and what have you. Everything that's tech today, we allow you to leverage that so that you can build a premium brand and establish that trademark identity that you have. So in a nutshell, that's all about me. That's what I do. Thank you so much.
Love it, love it, love it, JP. My good friend, dear friend, brother from another mother. mentor, colleague, coach, all of those things. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. I'm going to switch it over to Dr. D. I'm calling him Dr. D, but he's really Dwain E Woode with an E on the NMD. So, Dr. D, what's up? Let the people know who you are and what you're all about.
Tanya, thank you for having me on this panel. I was saying at the beginning, I need to sit back and just listen to these guys, and gals. But thank you for having me here. I am an endocrinologist, and if you listen to me, thank you for saying that E, because everybody tries to leave the E off my name. So that's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. On my channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage people to take charge of their health, their life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And I'm excited to be here because, as we were saying earlier, people see us, but they don't see how we do the things we do. And I'm just so glad to be here to show and share it with them tonight.
I love it. I love it. And I'm excited that you're going to be here with us tonight, too. Thank you so much. Look, I enjoyed meeting you from the very first minute we connected. I was like, yeah, we're going to be friends. He's got to be on my show. For sure. All right. I'm going to introduce you all to Tatiana next. So let's talk a little bit about you. This is my she's chilling because
you threw a summer vibe, and I was like, let me grab my sunglasses. I'm just missing a fizzy beverage with a straw and some pineapple, but thank you so much, Tanya. It's awesome to be here. I feel like Tanya, Tatiana, we got a little connection just with our names going.
You know it. You know it. Tell us about you and what's your background and what do you love about video?
Most recent background is that I teach at a university. I'm an adjunct professor teaching public speaking, leadership courses. I absolutely love photography and video. Before teaching, I actually was a professional photographer and videographer, switched gears a bit. Tell you the story another time because it is a fascinating one. But what I love about video is actually two things. The first one is the storytelling aspect. But secondly, I'm part creative, part historian. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been documenting the family history, stories, everything. I mean, there's actually a photo of me when I was 15 and, those old giant video cameras, and I'm like busy filming every little thing. So it's just something that's in the blood, I suppose. I think I get it from my dad. He was always documenting those memories. And now I'm going to call myself the rookie of the group when it comes to live stream because I only started doing it at the end of last year. So less than a year in, not even 9 months just yet, but want to represent the voice of those who are in it, but starting out, and looking forward to learning and growing with a really fabulous group of people tonight. Tanya, thank you.
I love it. I love it. And I wouldn't even call you a rookie because you know what? You fit right on in there. I'm going to switch it over to RK3 and let's talk about RK3 and what is up, sir.
Tanya, we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. There we go. What's going on?
Of course. He got to act up. Look, everybody else came in. This one has come in and dance and put characters on screen. So what's up?
Life is good. Life is good, my friend. I can't complain at all. Not when you have dancing people in the place.
I know.
Come on. You just got to smile. You got to smile.
It's true. I don't know what's going on with my comments. They are big and crazy looking, but hey, I love that people are commenting and I'll keep on paying attention to those. I want to introduce yourself to the people and let them know what's up.
Hey, y'all, I'm Robert Kennedy III. RK3 is what the cool people call me, and I run a company called Kinetic Communications where we teach small business owners and real estate agents how to tell their stories on stage and on video so that they can attract their ideal audience and generate more income. Yeah, so that's what we do in a nutshell. A lot of different things, courses, online courses, coaching, in-person workshops, keynotes. Oh yeah. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we go. All right. All right. So yeah, so that's what we do
in a nutshell. Speak at a lot of real estate conventions, conferences, and brokerages, and also some corporate people when they want to learn about public speaking and presentation skills. They still call me.
I love it. I love it. Let me
Yeah.
bring everybody back to the stage. Look, so powerhouse group of people with different sets of experiences. And
Yeah.
look, I want to acknowledge some of the folks that are in the chat because it's been busy in there. So let me see. Legends all around. Chris Stone, what's up? Chris, you are a legend yourself. So thank you for joining us and for hanging out. Let's see. Dan Roth is in the house.
Dan
Oh, my
Roth.
goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, Dan is in the house. Been a while. I know, Yvette. I'm glad you're here. Erica Bates, the virtual summit strategist. I'm super excited that you're here. Another OG. So I love that everyone is here. We got to get into, and she said, I love tech magic, by the way. So we're going to talk about some tech magic. Can we do that?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Everybody brings their own style. But here's something I want you to notice about all of the speakers, all of the panelists. Each and every one of them has an amazing presence on camera. Have you noticed that? Did you pick up on that? Like, we've all spent time, no matter, even if you call yourself a rookie, Tatiana, again, fit right in, right?
Thank you.
Because we care. We care enough about how we are presenting ourselves so that we don't have distractions from the message that we want to share on video. So one of the first questions I want to ask each and every one of you is, what would you say is the most crucial piece of gear for someone who's just starting out? And for those of you who are in the chat, if you've got any questions yourself that you want to ask, put a Q in front of it so I can make sure that I come back, scan through, and get those questions out here for them. But what is the most crucial piece of gear for someone who's just starting out with video, and especially with live streaming?
Well, I'll go and jump into that. Thanks for the question, Tanya. Great question, by the way. And so I'm going to answer that from a cinematography background. That's my background, right? As a cinematographer. So that is what I have. And so when we're talking about live stream, based on my 15 plus experience for a newbie, I always tell my clients whenever we're having meetings is, listen, if you do not have any expensive gear, or if there's one thing you have to spend money on, make sure that is your audio. A lot of times, people are more attracted by camera or any other fancy stuff. But in this year, quote unquote, post-COVID, right, where more people are embracing the podcasting, the live video production aspect of building their businesses, we need to understand that people are more demanding, like less patient. Right. With my company, we do a lot of research to see exactly what makes people tick. And so you can have the fanciest image. If your audio is terrible, nobody, at least most people, I should say, will not want to listen to you. But if you have one of those premium audio, even if your visual is not that great, they will want to listen to what you're saying. Let's remember, a live stream is video that contains audio. Let me drop it right there. So for me, that would be that.
All right. Love it. Love it. What would, who wants to go next? Who wants to talk a little
Yeah,
bit?
I'm going to jump in and JP grab my one, but that's okay. but he's so right, Because all of the things that we do, whether we're teaching, whether we're entertaining, whether we are telling stories like RK3 does, if people cannot hear, if they can't feel what you're saying, if they can't follow you, then it doesn't make a difference. So I'm gonna say yes, audio. I'm also going to add light, right? So I got to come there. So if you got the audio, that's great. If you have nothing else, if you have good lighting, then your message begins to take form. Okay, so you got to have good lighting. If your audio is great and people can't really see what you're doing, and I do a lot of teaching in what I do. So if people can't see, if they can't follow me, then it doesn't make sense. So audio great, and then I think some good lighting would be the second thing.
Awesome, awesome. So look, we're putting a formula together for you all. So what's next on this checklist of important things, and who wants to go next?
I mean, I can go. I'm going to go slightly different, and I'm going to go with a piece of equipment that everybody should have. I mean, because you asked the question, if you're just starting out, what do you need? This thing right here.
The phone.
Right? A lot of people starting out, they see JP, they see Dwain, they see Tatiana, they see Tanya, they see RK3, and they get FOMO, right? They're just like, oh my gosh, I got to get that camera, I got to get that gear. And you haven't learned to rock this thing out yet, right? This thing right here is super powerful. I mean, the cameras on these days are phenomenal. So yes, learn about lighting. Yes, get a good microphone and an external microphone if you can. We can talk about these later. I got these fantastic DJI like clip-on microphones to really bring up the audio on my phone if I'm using it outdoors and I'm trying to interview, etc. But even in the absence of getting additional equipment, if you are able to understand angles, if you're able to understand lighting, especially if you're trying to film outdoors, if you're able to understand depth, distance, all of that using this device right here, my gosh, you are far ahead of the game. And then once you have that, yes, then start to add on some of the big boy stuff, big gal stuff, big girl, whoever. Yeah, the big people.
The big people stuff.
Yeah, I'll chime in and add on to that too. I mean, 100% I'm in agreement here that if we have to choose, audio is number one, video is second, because we can hear, we can follow along, right? That's just common sense. And Dwain, I was going to say lighting, so you took the lighting, that one, that's excellent. Check, right? It's so important to have that. I often see people backlit or side lit and all. That's one of the things that I teach my students as well, is to make sure that they're framed up nicely, looking good on camera, looking your best. And I also agree with RK3. You got to learn to dominate with that cell phone, because you will learn everything you need to from just the cell phone alone. That's how awesome the technology is. So my addition to the conversation is you got to have some type of headphones, or these are in-ear monitors. I remember when I first started learning about live streaming last year, people were IEMs. I'm like, what in the world are IEMs? In-ear monitors.
Sounds like a weapon.
I know, like IEMs, like IBMs, IEMs, TMI, so in-ear monitors, or if you like headphones, that's great. For me, I didn't want the headphones to mess with my hair and earrings. I wanted to be able to show my earrings. So in-ear monitors work for me. They're very discreet. And I want to recommend that they're corded, nothing Bluetooth connection, because when you start to advance in these things and then you want to connect things, corded does not cause interference, does not cause issues, whereas Bluetooth technology does. And maybe that will change one day, but corded in-ear monitors or headphones, that's going to help eliminate all kinds of audio troubles that will throw you off base and give you such difficulty. So that would be my addition.
But you got to get branding stuff like JP with the headsets, though, because his entire look. I see JP. I know it's like 95 degrees in his house, but he got a fur coat on.
I was thinking JP was streaming to us from the North Pole or something. So here, it's hot. It's hot in Pennsylvania.
It's 70 degrees here. I purposely put the temperature so I can wear what I love in order to get on stage. That's very, very important. But I want to jump on to what RK3 said before you take it away. When he mentioned the phone, I saw a comment earlier from Learn Live Stream with John Lacey. He was talking about that he's not really mobile creator. He's definitely a desktop. For the newbies that are listening to this, let me go ahead and show you what my cell phone camera looks like, right? Then you will see how amazing this is. So this is an iPhone, right? Depending on how you set it up, how you light and everything, you can be on desktop. They will never know that this is an iPhone that you're using. This is how powerful these cameras are now, right? So when you have it and you have the knowledge of primary colors, and we'll get into that, secondary colors and color combination, right? Understanding your branding and what you have to do and how you're presenting yourself, you can use these tools and look $1 million. So yeah, what our Arcade 3 said is very, very true. You can definitely start from there and use your camera that you have, which is our smartphones today.
Yep.
Look, this is such good advice. The whole idea of, I know, wow, iPhone, I'm seeing a lot of comments in here, right? And the thing is, you don't have to be limited just because you don't have the super expensive gear. That's the point that we're making, right? You don't have to be limited. You have the option of using the thing you've already spent this money on.
Yeah.
We've all invested
Exactly.
a lot in these nice iPhones that we have. We've invested a lot. And so did you see the quality? And I love Debbie said that was a great example. That was a perfect example because we can really leverage the resources we have. We don't have to make the excuse that, well, I can't afford to do this. And that's the reason why I'm not going live yet. I can't afford to go get a nice camera or microphone. You can work with what you have to start and then build on that.
Now let me jump in there, Tanya, if you allow me.
Yeah.
So both JP and RK said something very important. RK Kelly, he said you got to maximize your knowledge of the phone. And JP said, if you know what to do. So I don't think he remembers where I met him, but he did a JP, actually both of them, RK and JP did a course for Kirk Nugent. I think it was called Level Up. It was called Level Up. And the stuff that he taught in the class, right, was the stuff that I used, both of them actually, when I started out in my channel. And so there's so many resources now on the internet for people who can teach you. There are probably some people in your community that can teach you as well. Mm-hmm. So if you take that phone and you access the knowledge that's out there, I mean, it's incredible.
Good point. Excellent. Excellent. I see a couple of different questions.
It serves as a great backup too, just in case. Sometimes things happen and all you have is your cell phone signal. You can always use that as your backup. Sorry to interrupt you there, Tanya. Back to you.
No, that's okay. I was going to say that there is an excellent piece of software. It's an app called Camo. Re-incubate Camo. And if you put that on your phone, if you make that connect, and you can use it for your Android phone or your iPhone, and it could literally turn your phone, your smartphone, into a webcam.
Mm-hmm.
So really leverage the resources. And this thing is pretty inexpensive, if I remember correctly. I don't know off the top of my head what the cost was, but it's really inexpensive, and it's an excellent tool. So Camo Studio, CAMO.
And they do have a free version too, so you don't have to start with a paid program right away. You can get familiar with it on the free version.
Erica says she is not buying an iPhone, but she would use her phone as a second camera.
Come on, Erica, come over to the other side.
and for the folks, I just want to go ahead and add, for the folks that are, today's all about tech, so I'm going to get a little geeky here, right? For the folks that are into this, if you have, right, the latest OS of Mac, I'm on Ventura right now, right? So if you have Ventura and you have an iPhone, now you can connect your iPhone to your computer without an application. So what you just saw me do, I did not use any application to do that, right? It automatically detects your iPhone on your computer. So now you can use it as a webcam, which is fantastic. Now, talking about the applications, right? On top of what Tanya suggested, you have EPO cam that you can use, or you have NDI, right? NDI mobile that you can use, that I use a lot of time to connect that to the computer wirelessly and use that as, a webcam. And specifically, just to let you guys know, it is better if you can to use the back camera, right? Not the front, the back camera. Right now, I'm using the back camera, right? And give it some power. And I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Just to add that to it.
No, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff. Look, there have been people popping in different questions. One of the questions I want to hit really fast because it's related to what we were just talking about. John Lacey says, do we need to talk about gas? Gear acquisition syndrome.
No, John. No.
Not on this show. This show is all about gas, right?
Just
We do.
accept
Well,
it.
no, I mean, we're not gassing people though, because I mean, I think we've all started from the same place. We're all saying, listen, use what you have.
Yes.
Use this. I mean, as a matter of fact, a lot of us upgrade our phones every year or 2 years, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes we trade the phones in, or we hand them, give them to somebody else. Listen, this phone right here that I have in my hand is an iPhone XR. It's a phone that my parents used, and I was like, don't trade it in, and they just gave me the phone. So I've got like several iPhones, just old phones that I repurpose as cameras. There's an iPhone 11 that I'm using as on a separate computer as the webcam for my Zoom meetings, right? And so there's all sorts of stuff that, without spending and spending a lot of money and upgrading and getting the latest lens and all, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do with stuff that you already have, or stuff that you may be tossing out or doing a hand-me-down with, even if it's an Android.
It was hard for him.
Did you actually say that word?
He said
Yeah,
Android.
you heard that. You heard the hesitation.
Look, I love me some Android phones, but I use this iPhone now because I like the ecosystem. I like everything working together, and so having a Mac and an iPhone and an iPad, all of that just works seamlessly. But I do love an Android phone. They have beautiful video quality and a lot of the different types of features and functions that you get with it. So none of us are hating on you, those of you who are Android people.
I've had Androids.
Not at all.
I've had Androids and Windows phones. I've had them all. Come on.
Even a Windows phone?
I had a Windows phone at one point.
I don't know.
Yes.
No, I'm just
Wow.
kidding. He said, wow. Okay, so here's question number 2, and then I am going to go back and pull an audience question, but here's number 2. How does the type of content being shared influence the kind of gear that you need for live streaming?
That's a good one.
That's a good, yeah. I want to jump in on this one, and I'm going old school for a minute. So in my office, I have the paper that's on my exam table, and I grab a pen and I just go to writing and I start drawing. Okay. And a guy comes back today and he says, man, people have explained that concept to me before, but I didn't get it until I saw you actually drawing it on the table. And that goes to show all of us as content creators and people who are out there who are thinking about it. The content that you're doing has to match the way that you're presenting it.
Yeah.
Right? Because if it doesn't, then there's a disconnect. That's why I love what RK3 does. I mean, the stories, the way he tells stories. So the gear that you're going to get depends on what you're trying to present to the people and how you're trying to present it. So having said that, there are some standard things out there, right? So obviously iPads, people got iPads, they connect their iPad, they can draw, they can animate depending on what they're doing, what they're showing in terms of their content.
Dang it.
One,
Sorry.
what did I
John
do?
Lacey.
John Lacey is our new guest.
That is... I didn't mean to distract you. Go ahead. It's still bugging me. Go ahead.
Right. So going back to where we started with lighting and audio and so forth, right? If you're a storyteller, you want to make sure that your audio is like on point.
Yeah.
Right. If you're telling stories, you can't have, some kind of rinky dink, for lack of a better phrase, mic where the people can't hear the intonations and the change in your tone and voice and so forth, because they're missing all of that richness that you're presenting. If you are teaching and people can't see, then they're missing that as well. So the content that you're doing, how you're doing the content, definitely influences all the gear that you're going to get. I'm not going to talk about a specific piece of gear, but just that idea, I want to get that out there.
Okay. I'm sorry. People are messing with me about fixing the pixel. Fix that pixel. I think that was an excellent point, and it makes so much sense. You have to use the right gear to emphasize the point, to get your point across. And what you said as far as that example was perfect. What about anybody else answering that question? The question is, how does the type of content being shared influence the kind of gear needed for live streaming? Is
Yeah,
there
I
anything
have
else
something
you
to
want
add to that, Tanya.
Okay,
That
awesome.
it made me think of people who say, for example, are in a kitchen cooking. They're going to
Yep.
need to show different cam angles. So people who need to show an overhead. So it depends. Like if it's a more hands-on thing, then you've got to think about that. For myself, as a university educator and helping adjunct professors create dynamic classes, I need to be able to show what that looks like in a virtual environment and in an in-person environment too, which is why I love production software like Ecamm that allows me to put content up on screen. And I love Ecamm. I'm not saying that's the only option. It's just the option that I use and that I love. Being able to put something on screen, and I can show you a little bit later on too. What does it look like to put up trivia games, to put up different content on the screen? And that just adds so much visual appeal, helps too with audience engagement, keeping people interested. But at the end of the day, if I didn't have all of that, it really comes down to you and how you're connecting and engaging with your audience. But for sure,
Yep.
these excellent tools that we have just enhance. It's like us as the speakers, as the presenters, our content has to be the king and the queen of the show. The tools come second to that and help lift that up. But primarily, it's how we engage with people. That's going to be the primary skill set that we should develop before adding the enhancements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I love that. I love what Tatiana just said earlier. I just posted on social media saying something similar, and I was saying that the tech that you have, the gear that you have, should not be the production. The gear should complement, should push and present you in a better way.
Yep.
All right, should help you emphasize the subject matter. But if the gear becomes the subject matter, then there's a problem, right? In other words, you should be able, right, to hold the same conversation without the gear that you purchased.
Yep.
Right? Your delivery, the content of your message should not change because you have a different type of gear. But the gear now is going to make it easy to illustrate, right? To present it, to keep people's attention, because attention span is something. If you watch television, anything about TV background, you'll notice that they change angles every 30 to 60 seconds. There's a reason why, right? There's a reason why in TV shows, every minute and a half, you will see about 3 angles presented. Why? Because attention span is something. And if you go on social media, there's a reason why videos are a certain amount of seconds. Attention span, right? Very, very important. So that helps you, right, keep people focused. My wife, she's a teacher, right? She's a college professor. And when she's teaching, right, she does different fun stuff, right, on her PowerPoint or bubbly stuff and all that to keep the students focused on it. But that is not the message. That is not the topic of the conversation. It's just helping you illustrate it better. So, for example, I talk about tech. So if I'm talking about tech and I'm not showing you some tech, you're not going to get excited. Look at RK3, right? Showing you the angles. That is what's going to get you excited, because what is that doing? Emphasizing on what we're talking about.
That's right.
And one thing that's very important, your tribe is there for a reason. When you build community, right? Because you're going to end up building community whenever you go on live and you're producing content, right? People of like-minded thinkers will follow you. A group of people will be there because we all want the same thing. We all aspire and are attracted by the same, denominator, right? Common denominator. And that is what you got to focus on in order to grow and build on top of that. That's what I wanted to add to it.
Yeah. I'm a professional speaker, and one of the things that drives my revenue is the ability to speak at conventions, conferences, etc. At the beginning of the pandemic, all of that went away. And so we were forced to go online to do a lot of things. And so a lot of people who are speakers were saying, oh my gosh, how do I revamp my business? And they were buying equipment, and people were like, yeah, you got to get an ATEM mini, and you got to get all, and people who had never been on video before outside of using their laptop camera on Zoom were going out and plopping down $600 for an ATEM Mini had no idea what they were supposed to be doing with this thing, right? So they're buying all of this stuff, and I think just to end cap what everybody else is saying, you're going to start somewhere. You've really got to have clarity on what it is that you want to do. Do you go out and buy 5 microphones if you're never going to be doing interviews?
Yeah,
right? Do you get all sorts do you get a big desk? Do you get, you see everybody else and they have the RGB lighting and all this stuff? Do you get all of that stuff if your primary concern is nature and you're going to be outdoors a lot? Right? So you got to be clear on what your story is, what you're talking about. And you may not be super clear in the beginning, but don't spend $5,000 at first.
Yeah.
Get something, start putting out content. And as you get comfortable with the content, as you begin to get better at delivering the content, and you find that more people want your content and are paying attention to your content and are craving your content, then, okay, how can I up level that? How can I get better? How can I become more professional, more pro in my look? But you do that in stages and phases.
That's right. That's right. And I'm going to just add, I'll agree with everything that was said, because honestly, when I first started, my number one goal was to get out and meet the commitment that I made to myself to be on camera. Period. It wasn't, let me go out and spend the $10,000 or let me make sure I look really perfect. There was no such thing as the perfection. I had to get past I had to build up my confidence muscle first.
Mm-hmm.
Before I spent all that money, so that I could make a decision about, is this something I really want to do or not? So just making the commitment meant that I needed to get on camera, even if my hair wasn't what I wanted it to be, even if I was tired. I committed to myself the same time every week, even if I was in a walk-in closet, which for a while I was. I was in different spaces in my house trying to figure things out and using the really ugly webcam that was on my laptop. We all know we get those ugly webcams.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have the bad angles that look right up your nose. But it was building up that confidence muscle first and then taking the next step and saying, okay, I feel like this is something I'm committed to doing. So now I'll commit the cash to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Man, all good advice. This is just like brilliance. This is exactly what I was looking for. Yes, John, every time you go live, you're building a presentation muscle. Before I go into the next official question, I want to answer some questions from the audience. And I promise you, I will figure out this. I had to do some tweaking, y'all, because we had to tweak a little thing, and it messed up my whole flow. But it's all good. Y'all can still see and hear us, and that's the most important thing. So I'm gonna find this question that I'm scrolling all the way back up. This is a really good question from Debbie that I want you all to see. I hope you can see that. What was the biggest learning curve or mindset that you had to overcome to be at the level where you are? So was there an issue or a mindset thing you had to overcome in order to be where you are? Whoever wants to start. Okay, Tatiana.
Tanya, I'll start. Technically, is it a mindset issue? Yes, I think it is. And this is something that I struggled with in my desire to be of service to many people, because it's just the way that God made me to want to help. I really was going too broad and too wide when I started going live last November. And I wanted to teach communication skills to the planet. And then I realized that's not going to work. And, I'm taking some courses, figuring some things out, listening to lots of online mentors. And then I realized, okay, I need to pick a niche. And I decided to go with public speaking, which is my forte. It's part of what I teach. And even that was too broad and too wide, because it's public speaking for who? Mm-hmm. Who's my audience? And in a conversation with a peer, he said to me, I think that your problem, because he's a truth teller and I really appreciate it, and he said it very nicely, this is just my interpretation, I think your problem is that you can't see who you're talking to. And that was, and he was right. That is exactly the issue. I wanted to talk to so many people that I couldn't clearly see who I should be the most service to. So he asked me 2 questions. One is, what is it that I love doing the most?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer was, I love creating dynamic and engaging content for my classes, and I teach college and adults. And then he said, okay, great. And then I love delivering it. So I love creating all of the activities, all the discussions, all the content, and then delivering it. And then he said, great, who would value what you love the most? And then I thought, well, other
Yeah.
adjunct professors, that's who. And so it took me all that time, and then light bulbs are going off in my head. Now I can see this is brand new. This is 2 weeks. This is the past 2 weeks that this has happened. So to answer her question about mindset is, I just had not yet been able to identify my target audience. And that was a really big struggle for me, because then it's like I'm casting such a wide net.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I have a focus and a clarity, and it's hitting a reset button, and I can't regret the journey. Do I wish it hadn't taken me this long to figure it out? Yes, but this is the course that had to happen. And now I know, and I have a very clear direction. And it's exciting to me, because content creation was starting to feel like a burden, because I wasn't sure where to go. And now I know exactly where to go and who to do it for.
I love it.
Yeah. Really
That's
good.
so
Really
powerful.
good.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That is powerful.
Love
And the reason why it's such an important journey that we go on with all the things that are our, because each of us probably has a different story about the mindset issue or the thing that was a roadblock for us. But the thing that I love about the fact that we have these roadblocks is that we now get to share with others, like you just did, Tatiana, so that they can see themselves in that story, so that they know, oh, this feels like me. This feels like where
Yes.
I am. I'm not sure who I should be talking to, or I don't feel confident because everything's not perfect, or whatever the issue may be. I love that we get to have these stories to tell, because you always have to start somewhere, right, in order to get to another place.
Yeah.
Who
I can go
else?
next. I think this is something that, although I'll claim it myself, I think this is something that all of us as creators go through. It's that moment where, after you have prepared for a few days, after you've made sure that your scenes and everything is perfect, that your outline is nice, and you're going to deliver some smashing content, you hit the live button, and there's like one person or zero people.
Yeah.
Right?
Been there,
and
done that.
yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
it takes this there's this moment where you're like, crap, should I continue?
Mhm.
You kind of feel there's like this letdown that you've got to push through. I mean, you're live, so everybody's seeing you, or they may see you on replay or whatever, but you feel like the world is seeing you, but there's this letdown that you're struggling with right at that moment inside, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, should I do this? Or if you even push through it and you do that, and you do it 2 or 3 times, and only one person shows up 3 times, then you're like, should I do this the 4th time? Should I do it time number 5? And so the mindset shift here is, number 1, struggling with the consistency, and number 2, struggling with, should I do it? Should I continue to serve? Should I continue to show up, even if nobody else shows up?
Wow.
Right.
And that's so powerful. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Tanya,
ahead.
but that's so powerful what RK3 just said. And, I want to add to it, because in this journey, everyone, every creator encounters a specific struggle that's true to your story, your testimony, or your background, right? And mine was haters, right? And I guarantee you will get those trolls and those folks that are just spamming you, right?
Yep.
And mine went as far as somebody deciding. I shared this in the interview with Tanya that we did before, where this person decided to make a video about me, somebody that doesn't know me, who I decided to hate that far and make a video about me on this channel. I had no clue until my followers sent it to me to, quote unquote, bring me down, right? Of course, his channel was terminated and all that, but it does something to you. That will do something to you, because Whenever you decide to be in the eyes of the world, right? Now you're open to anyone and everyone's opinion. But the question is, should you continue based on what people say? So there's got to be a mindset shift. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to stand firm on solid ground. You've got to know that you know that you know. If not, imposter syndrome will kick in, and that will cause you to stop harshly on your tracks, right? And you will not continue this. So you've got to know that your worth is not based on what whoever might or might not say, right? And believe in your message, believe in your expertise, because it starts with you. If you don't show up for yourself, going back to what RK3 and everybody else just said, you have to start with yourself first. Then people start believing in you, believing in yourself. And then you start growing. And that mindset is something I had to develop for myself and kept pushing regardless of adversity, regardless of the hate, right? And that brought me where I am today. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about that being gear. I'm just going to say, even though the show's not, he didn't say, because my gear was bad, I guess I better stop. He's talking, we're answering the question that Debbie asked. Dr. D, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with everything that everybody said. I want to just drop one additional thought. Clarity, not just about who you're talking to, but clarity of the message that you're giving. So all of us are experts in our area. And I'll tell you, when I started, when I got on camera, I wanted to give all of that expertise in one video. Like when I went live, by God, I was going to teach them everything. Right? And so stepping back for a moment and saying, okay, what is the nugget in all the things that people know about diabetes, or all the things people know about thyroid, or whatever it is I was teaching? What is the nugget? What is the gem that I want to give to this audience about that topic? And being able to dispel all of the extra words, all the extra thought, and come up with that one gem, I think was something that I had to learn to do, because I talk all the time. I teach all the time. Every day I'm in front of people. But what is the piece of information that I'm going to present to the audience that's going to make them say, oh, yeah, that piece of information, that makes sense to me now.
Yes. All of this is good stuff. I hope that you all are getting, again, we're here to talk about gear, but also gear is not the magic. Your message is the magic. The mental is the magic. Do you believe in what you're saying when you get on camera? I always like to tell my clients that the camera amplifies who you already are. So if you're lacking confidence, if you don't really feel good about what you're talking about, if you don't know what you're talking about, and you get on, look,
Chat GPT experts
I'm
out.
Sorry. I said it last time. Okay, I said it in my last show. There's a lot of people that have a pretend or a false sense of knowledge. And if you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to at some point bite you, because it amplifies. Whoever you really are will be amplified in your stream. So if you truly are there and you're passionate for people, if you truly are there because you're being of service, it's going to show up regardless of the gear. So I hope you're hearing that in the message that everybody's sharing.
Can I jump in and just tell a quick story there, Tanya? So when I first started live streaming, I was doing pre-recorded videos and so forth. And I was teaching because I had gone through and I said, okay, this is the gem I want to teach. And I had gone through and I did a video, and someone commented on the video. They said, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I've never heard this concept before. Right? And I took that in, And I said, oh my God, people don't like what I'm saying. So I changed what I was teaching to be like everybody else who taught the same thing.
Mm.
Okay. And then I thought, well, somebody said to me, it's like, wait a minute, man. Your gift is that your idea is different. Why are you letting this one person change what you were going to do?
Yes.
Right? Because that's the gem. That is the gem that you distill down, and yet you're trying to blend in with everybody else. And I think it was JP who said that. You have got to understand and believe, know who you are. Because as soon as you turn that camera on, there's going to be somebody, some group, somewhere that's not going to like your nose, your mouth, your teeth, your hair, something about you. And if you're not careful, you're going to water down your message. And that's the danger, because now you become like everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tanya, I'm sure you're ready to kick it back to gear in just a second, but I just want to say one last thing about this thing. If we can take it to a cognitive place for a second, we all have biases, people. That's just a fact of being a human being, right? And one bias in particular is a negativity bias, meaning the negative stuff just stings more, stands out more than the good stuff. An example from my life is evaluations at the end of the semester, reviews at the end of a course. 99 happy, loving students, excellent comments. One student says, I felt like she treated us like fifth graders. And that stings and hurts, but it doesn't balance out the other 99 awesome students who had a great experience. But in our minds, that little thing sticks out more. So I just want to say that because I want everybody to expect things like that and accept it, but actively change your mindset to focus on the 99, not on the one.
Yeah.
Because it will happen.
Look, I gotta hold up, gold nuggets.
So I know you want to quit. But I just want to share this as well. So it's one thing if somebody attacks your expertise. It's another thing if somebody attacks the content and the way you deliver it. It's a totally different thing when they go nasty and attack you personally.
Yep.
I've had some videos that I've done, or done a reel, or done something, and somebody put a comment in there and they were like, picklehead, right?
Lord have mercy.
So they were like literally attacking me personally, and people didn't know. I mean, I walked through this thing as a kid. My name's Robert. And so as a kid, and I'm comfortable sharing this now, but as a kid, people are mean, and they would make names like Big Head Bobby, right? And so so as a kid, you walk around with that on your shoulders, and you're always wondering, you look in the mirror, wait a minute, is my head really big? And so you're measuring, you're getting up, you're getting all stuff, right? So when people then, now in this new age, attack you, it takes a special it takes something to be able to realize that it's not about you. People are projecting their own insecurities in order to try to take you down so that they might feel better about themselves.
Yes.
True.
Yes. Look, 100%. I got to tell my quick story since everybody's telling stories. This one really quick, because it's a perfect example of what you just said, all of you. I was not new to live streaming, but I was still kind of in the early stages of forming my opinion about who I was on camera, right? And my husband was going through chemo because of colon cancer, and I was suffering just as he was suffering through this whole entire year of just craziness and chaos and hoping that he would survive. And my hair was coming out, so I ended up having it cut off. Like, it was really, I know it's low now, but it was really low. It was like super low. And I got on camera and I was doing my live stream and I was talking about marketing because it's what I know and what I love. And I was smiling and I was happy about it. And a woman came into my feed and said, if I were to look up the definition of unprofessional, your face would be next to it.
Oh my gosh.
And when she said it, and here's how deep this can go for you folks. I want you to really pay attention to the next thing I'm going to say. I thought I was okay. and I tried to push it aside. And then for the next several months, I started wearing wigs.
Ooh.
And you can see this. If you go to my YouTube channel, trust me, you'll see that there is a period of time where I was wearing wigs because I've had short hair since the 80s. Like, I don't do long hair. But I wore wigs because it was impacting me in here. It was making me think I was taking on her baggage. And didn't even realize it until one day you kind of wake up. There's going to be a moment that triggers for you that says, you just took somebody else's issues on. You carried their emotional baggage for them.
Preach.
Instead of being your powerful self. Why did you do that? And when I started asking myself that, I thought, let me get rid of these stupid wigs.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to find that way, that path, whatever that path is going to be for you. And the experience that you have may be different than what you've heard here on today's show. But whatever that path is for you, be open and ask yourself questions. And talk to people who do love you and who want to give you constructive feedback. I surround myself with people who are truth tellers like JP Hightek, like RK3. Now Tatiana and Dwain are in the family too. So trust, I believe that any of them will be honest with me and say, hey, this could be different or this could be better without the hatred, right? But don't ever take on somebody else's baggage as your own, especially when you're doing this live video stuff, y'all, because it can be real. It can be tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got to get back to some gear.
I know. That's why I'm zipping it. It's like,
Me too. Because
keep
I
wanting
have so
to
much
talk
to
more,
say.
but I'm like, ugh.
I mean, it's gonna be an entire therapy show right here. Life therapy. Y'all.
Look, this is bringing up some stuff. So when y'all said that, I was like, oh, let me tell. Look, this is it's real. I'm an introvert, and that's why I'm a little reluctant. Yeah, I am too. But hurting people hurt people is so true. It does happen, and you have to know that that's what it is. It's not you, it's them. Okay, another question about gear. Any gear disaster stories that you've experienced and the lessons you learned that can help other people avoid similar pitfalls?
Oh boy. Have
Gear
mercy.
disasters.
Yeah, buddy.
Like, which one's the pick from?
From what month would you like us to pull from?
So I'm gonna jump in, and this is I'll tell this, and then maybe a gear. And this is really just procedure, right? So I was doing a segment. Well, I did a bunch of shows where it was a cooking show, and so I had a guy come out, and he was cooking. So he had done all his prep, and he did this stuff. And so I'm interviewing, I'm talking with him, I'm showing the angles, and he's cutting, and he's putting it in a pot and so forth. And I looked down. He had put everything in the pot. He had put it in, on the stove. And I looked down, and the thing on the stream deck said record. Now, if anybody knows.
Oh my God.
So this man had done his whole show, his whole cooking, and I had not hit the record button. And it's not like he could take it back out the pot.
Oh man.
Oh boy, have mercy.
So now I have check boxes, I've got lists, I've got stuff all around. So that wasn't a gear disaster. That was a user kind of thing, right? So my first thing there is you got to have some check boxes. You have to get some lists. You got to get some checklists. So now to why this is important. I've always been told, like I think JP said at the beginning of the show, he just rebooted his computer. And I usually come in and I reboot because if you don't, then you don't know what's going on. So I'm in the middle of a show and there's the little button that says you have an update, right? And I accidentally, during the show, hit the yes.
He did not click that. No, not during the
Oh my God.
So now my computer's getting slower and slower because it's grinding up. And I had to actually just, stop because I said, okay, guys, I'll be right back, and rebooted it and came back in, and we had to do, make some things. But that was like one of my major disasters. And that was just really, once again, kind of user, but in the middle of all this, the computers just hung.
Well, let me share this. Fantastic stories here. And we're all learning. We've all learned from our mistakes. Now, it's not a personal mistake, but it happened to a client of mine. So told the client, right, what type of computer to buy. MacBook. Don't forget the Pro. Okay.
Not the
Oh
Air.
no.
Not the Air. The client decided to get a deal and save money. And they went ahead and purchased the Air. Now, I didn't know. They didn't tell me to purchase the Air instead of the Pro. But, there's a reason why we experts, we tell you what we tell you. And so he got set up and everything. He said, yeah, I'm good. He had a mini conference. And he had 6 guests. So this is important because it goes down to what Tanya is doing right now, having all the guests. And so he brought all the guests into his software. And what happened? Live, the whole thing froze and shuts down.
Yeah.
Here he is panicked. I'm eating not breakfast, but dinner. He calls me, Matt. So I don't understand what's happening. The whole thing shut down. It took us 30 minutes of conversation to realize he was on the complete different, wrong hardware.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you bought an Air? He said, yeah, it's the same laptop. It's still Mac. I'm like, no,
it's not.
It's not the same processor. He's like, oh, I was just trying to save money. I'm like, well, the money just killed you.
Yeah.
The money you saved just killed you on a live event. And this was a conference and he couldn't get back on, sadly.
Wow.
And he said, what's the solution? I said, turn back that MacBook Air and buy what I said, MacBook Pro. And this was a great lesson. And I wanted to share that because a lot of folks have that assumption, thinking they could just use any to get the job done. Not every computer are created alike. And we need to know exactly what we're trying to achieve and know what gear we're purchasing. And most of the time, the MacBook Pro gets the job done. The M1, though, love it. Just to put that out there.
Yeah. I think I've shared this story with you before, Tanya. This was early on in the pandemic when everybody was moving from their computer cameras to DSLR or mirrorless cameras. So at the time, I had a DSLR camera. It was a Nikon D3500. Now, I decided I was going to live stream with my Nikon camera, and I didn't plug any other camera in. I just had the Nikon D3500 camera. So I'm live streaming, and about 20 minutes into my live stream, the camera shuts off. And so I'm looking at like, what's going on here?
Dummy battery.
No, it wasn't the battery. The Nikon D3500s have an auto shut off feature.
Oh, after 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
And I had the camera on for about 15, 20 minutes before the live stream.
Yeah.
Right. So it shuts down like in the middle of the live stream, and it took me about like a minute and a half. I didn't realize what was happening.
Yeah.
Right. At first, I didn't even know it shut down until somebody said something in the comment, and then I'm looking. I'm like, and then I see the back of the camera because it wasn't one of those cameras that had like the flip out screen, so I didn't know. And so then I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and of course I don't have a backup camera installed other than the somebody used this word earlier, the rinky-dink computer camera. So I then had to just kind of, in order to complete the live stream, I had to go to the rinky-dink camera, which was like super blurry. I don't even think the lens was cleaned on the computer, and it was terrible. But I've got a whole bunch of those stories. I probably can tell, but I'll just tell you one. That's it.
Well, I recently did a live stream with Ecamm with two awesome people in the Ecamm community, and it was titled, like live streaming fails from the Ecamm fam. So I know we don't have time to get into all of them tonight, but if anybody wants to go check it out, we spent a whole entire live stream just talking about big time mistakes. So they happen.
I'm gonna go check it out.
They do. I think I saw that in the feed too. I have to go check it out. My big fail was being on live, and I was just talking and having a good old time, and people were in the chat, but I wasn't really reading. They were trying to tell me they couldn't hear me.
Oh.
Oh my God.
I was just talking. I was really animated and I was excited and I'm going on and I'm like, yeah, they couldn't hear a word I was saying for probably about 3 to 5 minutes.
It seems like the audio mistakes.
We were giggling in the chat too.
Yes.
We were like, somebody go send Tanya some smoke signals.
Call her cell phone. But somebody, it always seems like the majority of mistakes happen with audio related stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I categorize them, audio is number one.
Yep. The one thing we told you you need to pay attention to the most.
Yep.
All right. For those.
But that kind of goes, Tanya. What the story that RK told is, so I bought, when I first started live streaming, I bought a Canon M50 because I went online and I started, everybody was talking, the Sony is great, but the M50, I think it was like $100 or something less. And I thought, just like JP said, I was going to save some money.
Yeah.
And then I bought it and then realized that I had to do all these hacks to try to keep it going for the length of my live stream.
Oh, geez.
Right. So for people who are out there, as you are kind of looking on the internet and so forth, you'll see a lot of people talking about different things. People who are on the screen right now are good sources to find out what you should get. Because if you get the wrong thing, you end up spending money and then you're kind of stuck. So be careful.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because you'll hear a lot of people that are fly-by-night gurus, or that they're trying to give you the cheapy way to get around things. You have to be careful that you don't invest multiple times, like buy 5 different cameras because the first 3 you bought were cheap, and now they're just sitting off in a corner somewhere because they don't work anymore.
There you go.
Yeah. So spend the money on the first, but we also talked about the fact that you need to be ready, right?
Yeah.
Use what you have. There are different levels of readiness when it comes to video. I mean, would anybody else agree with that?
Oh, yes. I mean, absolutely. And just to get the folks excited, let me go ahead and show you here my one of my behind the scenes camera, because Tatiana said something earlier that was very important. So let me go ahead and show you here so you can see. So very important. You have to, and I'm about to put the camera on in just a minute. You have to get away from anything that is Bluetooth, right? Forget about the Bluetooth cameras, because those are no. So right here, you will see I have the cable, right, connected directly to it. And now it decided to freeze on me, right? But I have the cable directly connected to it here because you need hardwired connection, especially for your audio. Whenever you're doing live stream and you're connecting Bluetooth, now you are going to create problems with feeds because you have so much going on, which is why we also tell people connect your internet hardwired, not Wi-Fi, hardwired, right? And this is very important to understand, because I had a client that went and purchased Beats headphones, wireless Beats headphones. And in the middle of their live stream, stopped hearing audio, panicked, didn't understand what was happening. I was like, well, That's what happens when you go Bluetooth. Now the Bluetooth is not working. You can't hear anything, right? So it's not. I'm not trying to scare anybody. It's not what will happen. Is the way you respond to what happens when it happens. Just want to show you my setup. All right, let's get back to it.
JP's clients don't listen to him. Don't do that. You gotta listen to JP. Get what he said. If you don't listen to him, your stuff is gonna break. It's just gonna break.
Look, I love the idea of the camera switching and what you've done. Both of you, RK3 and JP, you're masters at the camera switchers. I noticed that. We always notice that, right? Because it's something that you do.
So the thing I want to say about the camera switching, even though, is a lot of people, and as we're talking about what should you get, a lot of people see us switching cameras, are like, oh my gosh, and we got to get all these different cameras. Not realizing that some of the cameras that we have are like little things. So there's this camera, and this one, the view on this is not like crisp, but I use it every once in a while just because I want people to kind of a different mood or whatever, right? Just kind of this spooky background. And this is, and I can turn the lights on and off, but this is a $30 GoPro, right? That I got on eBay. Right. So I've got that happening. Here's another camera, and then this is an old C922 that I got to fix the sharpness on because my lighting is a little bit off. Right. I've got a Logitech Brio that's kind of just throwing at the side. Right here, we've got my there's a phone that's right in front of me, and I use that phone because sometimes I want to show different things. Right. So I'll pick it up really quickly. Right. And so of the cameras, this one, of course, is the one. This is my Sony ZV-E10, and this is the most expensive of the cameras. I've got a Lumix G7 over here, but everything else outside of the old phone, these are cameras that I paid like $30, $40, $50.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go and spend $7,000 to get a bunch of different views. And the thing is, because that first view that I showed you, because I know it's not the greatest view, I've got a specific purpose for it, and I'm not going to stay on it that long. But it's just this other thing that I share because it's one that I used to use, especially like when I'm doing my pre-shows at the beginning and I want to kind of be dancing in the background, and it kind of has that faded look, etc. So, I share with people a little sneak peek of the background with a $30 GoPro 3.
And it's visual disruption. And that was one of the things I was going to say is the visual disruption helps to give people a reason to like pay attention. Like what's coming next? What's happening? Wait, I can't see. Can I see him? So they're looking. I think I just lost JP's camera. But they're looking. Yeah, I did. I'll get him in a second. They're looking to try to figure out what's going on, right? Speaking of visual disruption, where did JP go? Great timing, John Lacey. We planned that. That was cool.
But Tanya, that's exactly an amazing point to be making, and the brain science proves it. There's something called habituation, and we as people habituate very quickly, which means we become accustomed to a stimulus that once was new and no longer feels new. So that camera switching helps break that up and add just more visual interest and more engagement. But it's also a high level skill. Even if it's not expensive to go out and get the cameras, it's something that you work up to for sure. I think that's the next step for me, is to be able to have a couple of different angles to show and things like that too. But right now for me, it's my Sony ZV-E10, also Sony fan here. But I started with the Logitech C920 as well.
Yeah.
And I started with this microphone. Right? I started with just a little USB microphone right here. Nothing fancy. It was $20 and it's old. Like I had this way back in the Skype days before Zoom or anything. But sometimes it's
Tatiana was using that microphone on MySpace.
I never jumped on the MySpace but
She said I wasn't even born then. What are you talking about?
no, I definitely was. I'm 46. I mean, no, I wasn't. No, I don't know what you're talking
you're
about.
supposed to say
I heard
no.
about it.
Right. I don't know what that is. You're supposed to say that. Yeah, I did. I lost my friend, but I'm sure he'll be back.
He'll be back.
So we'll bring him back in here. Okay, so what in terms, here's one of our last questions. And I know I got to get you guys off so that you can go do your whatever you do in the evenings. Otherwise, I'm going to keep you here all night.
That's what JP went to do. He went to eat. Or something.
He was like, bye, I'm out. It's taking too long. I got to be out. Let's see. As if someone is growing their coaching or consulting business, because a lot of people in the audience, in my audience, tend to be service providers. So they're doing something of service. What are some upgrades that they should consider to enhance quality and maintain viewer engagement? Some upgrades that you would suggest.
If it's more about engaging the audience and appeal like that, I would say some type of software like Ecamm or OBS is a free one, and an OVMix is one for the Windows platform computers. Something that you're going to be able to start to put in overlays and graphics and visual interest and be able to add games. So that to me would be like, if you're ready to level up, then for me, it's that would be the next step once you've got the basics of the audio, the video, and the lighting down.
Awesome.
Yeah, love that. I think along those same lines, those overlays that you're going to be doing, you got to have some software where you can create those. Like I love RK, you need to put that robot back up that you were using before. but just like to Tatiana's point earlier, those interrupts when your audience is looking at something else, you're giving a point, and the lower third, the dancing robot, whatever, is making the point, right? They're in sync with what you are trying to present. Yeah. I think that levels up your presentation.
Yes. And welcome back, JP. People had comments.
Sorry about that.
People had jokes.
Yeah, I mean, we lost electricity here. The power just went out. Yeah.
Actually,
put on some.
JP, I was actually waiting till the end to mention one of my biggest tips for anybody. This is whether you're starting tomorrow or you started yesterday, is a UPS power backup. That if the power fails, I at least have 10 minutes to say, sorry guys, power's gone, big storm here, catch you next time. But I have my computer, camera, and one light set up to it. So and you do learn that the hard way sometimes. But the one thing that I got when I started to get really expensive equipment and wanted to make sure that it was protected was it's just a big giant black box, connects to power, that gives you protection, a few minutes of battery backup time if the electricity in your house or studio space fails.
Yeah,
that's
I have a big one down here.
Need. Yep, I have one down here as well. You have to have that because I mean, it saves you, so that's what allowed me to come back real fast. I'm not sure why I didn't kick in, but yeah, we're good because mine is really big. It gives me 4 hours. Gives me 4 hours of power.
Wow.
And I love it. Yeah. So I have it plugged here because I have so much going on here. I'm like, okay, that didn't kick in right away, but it's allowing me to come back. Well, we figured out what's happening, but we're live. We're good. And so I have my hotspot connected. So we are in business. So all is well.
Yes. And okay, thank you for I was going to say, can somebody repeat again what it is? Because my husband bought me one, right? It's a UPS, uninterruptible power supply. So for those of you who are looking for this, if you go, you can find them on Amazon. You can go to BH Photo Video. This RK3 is a mess.
There you go.
I love it.
You can find
okay, RK, I'm gonna have to talk with you afterwards to get some pointers, man.
Animation, I know. But my husband bought one for me, y'all, and I was like, "What is this?" Because it was a birthday gift, and I was like, "This is not a birthday gift." And literally the same weekend, I'm telling y'all, I was hating on him, but I was, I was trying to be nice. I was like, "Oh, thank you," but I really was not happy. That weekend had a
He
big
knew.
storm.
He
He
knew.
knew. Had a big storm, and the power went out, and I was still up and running and doing my live.
Aha.
So then I was like, "Oh,
Aha.
thank you." He said, "Oh, you thanking me now? I knew you didn't like it."
Hmm.
Oh, and JP, we asked the question as one is growing their typically online business of some kind, so service business or some type of consulting or coaching, what are some gear upgrades they should consider to enhance their streaming quality and maintain viewer engagement? I think two people still need to answer that.
Great question. So as you're growing, you have to look better, sound better, be more professional, right? So I was having a meeting with a client, and then we were discussing this same topic, and they were asking me, well, where do I put that for the broadcast? And I said this, I said, listen, not every upgrade is for people to see.
Yeah.
Some upgrades are for you. You know,
That's right.
the way you feel, the way you have your office set up needs to make you want to do what you love to do, right?
Yeah.
It gotta motivate you to create more. It has to motivate you to be excellent, right? To give your best. It's not everything that's in this office that I am that is for people to see. So you got to be able to upgrade things that will help you, do better in the things that you do, right?
Yes.
Of course, you have upgrades that are for people, right? For your presentation, for example, teleprompter or, mixer, Rodecaster Pro and all of that. But what about you? And that's where I wanted to bring this, because a lot of time we forget about us, right? I have a great plant in here on the side, and I have another one back here. But those were for me. It's not necessarily for the people. I love plants, right? Allows me to relax, makes me feel good when I have it in the room. And so that is for me, right? And that's why it's so important that whenever you have your setup, your studio setup, it has to be an extension of who you are,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Tanya, Wonder Woman, right? Wonder Woman in Tanya's studio, you watch it. It's not really for people. That's who she is, right? And so if you just want to mimic other people, I tell people, we all have different personalities. We have different desires and focuses, aspirations, and all that. Who are you?
Yeah.
And how does that translate through your setup, through your studio, through your presentation, without you saying the word? That is really what's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm all in on
Yeah.
that. All in on that. I love the candle. I have the Fruit Loops. I don't know if y'all know Fruit Loops, but Fruit Loops was my thing,
Yeah.
my jam at my grandmother's house when I was growing up and getting ready for school, and I would go have a bowl of Fruit Loops. So I actually got myself a Fruit Loops candle, and that became a thing as part of my live streams. I like to have that. Nobody can see that or smell it but me, right? But it makes me feel warm, and it reminds me of my grandmother, and I have a picture of her right here that you can't see either. But you're right. I think it's totally about surrounding yourself. I like to call it creating your sacred space. Like,
There we go.
how do you empower yourself, feel empowered so that you can empower others? Because again, how you feel and what you're experiencing will translate through the camera. You have to love what you're
Absolutely.
doing and be passionate about what you're talking about and feel that so that it comes through and it makes the impact that you want it to make. That's my belief. I know some people are like, just get on camera and do your script. But I feel like people want and need right now in this moment an emotional connection with your content. Even if you're talking about diabetes and say the word, Dr. D.
Endocrinology.
Yeah.
Even if you're talking about that,
Endocrinology.
he's super excited and powerful in that space because it's what he knows and he can say the word.
Yeah.
And that translates well through the camera. So what do you love? What are you passionate about? What can you surround yourself with, like JP said, so that people really get the experience that you want them to have on the other side?
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think for me, I'm looking at Animal Paradise's comment, and he's like, "RK, you have too much fun," and that that is what I want to have because I
Yes.
want my audience to have that, right? And so I could get a whole lot of equipment in the background, but the equipment isn't what translates to fun for me. Fun for me is things like this. So if you put me larger on screen, you'll
Oh,
kind of
let me do
see,
it.
when I make a joke and nobody's high fiving me, I'll high five myself, right? So so what I'm doing here, I love overlays, but sometimes you may not find overlays everywhere you want to look. So my secret weapon for a lot of this stuff sometimes is Prezi Video. So that's a piece of software that allows me to grab overlays really quickly and easily. It connects to a lot of stickers and GIF, whatever meme sites. And so I can pull up nearly anything that I want. So say a word, Tanya. What word do you want to say? Just say any word.
Circus.
Circus. Okay, so cool. Circus. All right, look. So I'm pulling up already on screen a circus, right? So literally that I want can be on camera with me, but that's kind of my personality. I want to have fun. I love visuals. I love pattern interrupts because I really believe as a teacher, I was a high school teacher for 8 years. And if you are in a space and people are kind of bored or you're just kind of the same and the routine and they don't have anything new to expect, and it's the same reason that we're talking about why you switch camera angles, right? You want to keep and what you want to engage people, and so that's my thing. So again, my secret weapon is for engagement is how can I create things or how can I put different visual elements on screen that people don't necessarily expect that cause them to have even a moment of, oh my gosh, okay, and then they'll kind of lean in, okay, what's Robert saying now, or what's he got next?
So John asked a question. Well, he didn't ask a question, but he said, "I have all kinds of copyright concerns about this." So, what's your thought on that, RK3? You've been doing this for a long time.
Well, I mean, I'm not grabbing images from some secret site. I'm not going to Google and downloading some stuff. I'm going to websites that already have Creative Commons licenses.
Yes.
One of the places that I get a lot of overlays from, Dwain, here's a secret sauce again, Envato. elements.envato.com. I get a lot of different things there, and that's the licenses are already taken care of. I mean, you could ask back in the day, several years ago, if you couldn't play somebody's music on live streams or on video. Now it's all over TikTok, right? Because it's giving a different layer or a different level of visibility to the musicians, and the TikTok and Instagram and these sites have already taken care of the licensing for you. I'm not saying don't take care of the license. Don't pay attention to that, but know what you have. Buy an artlist.io license or membership for the year. What's the other one? The Epidemic Sounds. Get an Epidemic Sounds. Yeah. Get that, because they're taking care of all of these things for you. Go to Giphy, go to, a lot of these places already have Creative Commons licenses in place for you. In some cases, as long as you give them credit, then you can use it. But, there's so much royalty free stuff online that, if you're getting sued for that type of stuff, shame on you.
If you're starting out and not ready to jump into a membership just yet, or just not at that level, there are a lot of free, fully no copyright issues that are available that are not crap. Right? There's good high quality stuff out there, including the YouTube audio library being a great first place to start. But there are others. There are actually people who freely and willingly share content that can be used on live streams too. So you can always just start with that content and then work your way up when you're ready to something like Epidemic Sound or Envato Elements or other services too. Ben Sound, I think, is another, but there are many.
Lots.
But that I think, to add to the question about what should somebody get when they're starting out, that's it right there. I mean, there is this vast library of stuff that we sometimes ignore and put money into other places, right? So you got your camera, like RK said, you've got a microphone to make the sound look better, you've got some lights, and then get online. If you're looking for lower thirds, if you're looking for overlays, if you're looking for other stuff, then it's out there, and you don't have to invest, an arm and a leg.
And get connected to communities that are supportive and that are sharing resources that they find. That was one of the biggest helpful tips that I got, was get connected. Connect with, for instance, Ecamm Live's community, connect with StreamYard community, whoever you're using, whatever your platform you've decided you want to engage with, or just be a part of multiple communities, right? And ask questions and get resources that you can dive into, because there's lots of information out there. But do your homework. I always have to tell people, like, just because this thing worked for me, I'm giving you information so that you can make that you can see possibilities. I'm not giving you this information to say, this is the way. I'm saying this is a way. And there probably are other ways. So do your research. Yes, exactly. Educated Natural. Definitely do your due diligence, because research is key.
Yep.
Love it. Okay, folks. I know you have a life outside of the live stream. I want to tell you once again how much I thank you and I appreciate you. And you've been amazing. You are awesome. Yes, exactly. I'm not even look, I got to put all of you back up on camera again. JP in the house, Dr. D.
I'm going to do my little thing. Look at that. Okay.
Look, he's got the
Hey, look at
Okay,
that.
look at
Oh,
that.
nice.
That's what I'm talking
Nice.
about.
Let's go.
Look at this, the moonwalk and everything. Tatiana.
That's what I'm talking about.
I love it. RK3. Thank you so much. Look, he's got his own dancing self there.
No copyright issues with that one.
Right.
Not at all.
I love it. Look, everybody is saying thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Great conversation. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Really appreciate the conversation. Chaps Talk, thank you for being here. Thank you I know we didn't probably get to all of the questions, and you're not alone. You are not alone, Chaps Talk. Thank you for being here, for saying that, because I love that this community of my brothers and sisters, because they can't get rid of me now, we're all family. I know that this community of people can help you to do the things that you want to do when it comes to live streaming and their specialties that they talked about early on. Oh, love it. The specialties that they talked about early on are somebody must have been touched and connected with that. So be sure to reach out. Can you tell everybody where to find you? I'm going to pull up each of your screens solo and just ask you to share where people can find you and connect. What's the best place to connect with you online? Because I want people to connect with you and follow you. Where are you, JP?
Great question. So now let me tell you, you can find JP at jphightek.com, right? jphightek.com. And of course, the handle is at jphightek. And I am, of course, on YouTube as well. I am the founder of a platform called Content Creators University, where we help creators master, the business side of creating content. Go check it out, contentcreatorsuniversity.com. But the handle is JP Hightek on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, everywhere. Now we have Threads and more platforms. Just look for JP Hightek. I'm right there. I'll be more than happy to connect with you. And of course, I just want to say, Tanya, fantastic show. I mean, great conversation. You made me feel comfortable. I enjoyed myself. I was rushing to come back when we lost electricity so that we can finish this strong, even stronger than the way we started. So again, great work putting this together. This is a great platform and lessons for folks that want to grow their presence on live video. Want to connect with you guys. And if you're looking to grow your brand, absolutely, let's connect. And I would love to hear back from you. Networking is the new currency, like I said. See y'all next time.
Love it. JP Hightek. Find him everywhere on all the channels. I'm going to switch it over to Dr. Dwain Woode with an E, MD. Let's talk about you. Where can people find you, sir?
Oh, well, people can find me. Thank you, first of all, for having us on. People can find me at Dwain Woode, MD. That's DWAIN WOODE MD. And you can find me on my website, same thing, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. If you just go Dwain Woode, MD, you'll find me there. And once again, I educate, I empower, and I encourage people to take charge of their health, their life, avoid complications, and create the life they wanted. So if you're interested in getting unstuck from where you are, there are things that you want to move from, I'd love to work with you. And thanks for bringing me on to join this family. And you're right, everybody's family now.
That's right. You can't get rid of us now. I love it. Definitely find Dr. Dwain E Woode, MD. Tatiana Teaches. There you go.
Yes. I want to give a shout out to Dwain because he and I were accountability partners in a creator program that we were both a part of too. So it's just so nice to be on this journey together. But yes, TatianaTeaches.com and everywhere on social media, especially on YouTube and LinkedIn. Hello, Tatiana Rodriguez on LinkedIn. Otherwise, Tatiana Teaches everywhere else, and would love to connect, especially if you're in the education space and you're looking to create more dynamic content for your courses. I'm happy to help. And I want to add that the piece of gear that I'm working on next, because it's a ever evolving and I'm a lifelong learner, so this never ever stops. I am learning to master this thing, the Stream Deck. I got the XL, and this is my next thing that I am working to up my live streaming game as well.
Awesome. I was supposed to ask that question. I forgot to ask it. What's your favorite piece of gear? Stream Deck XL. Thank you. Follow Tatiana, TatianaTeaches.com, most of the places, and then hello, Tatiana, on LinkedIn. I love it. RK3.
Thank you, Tanya.
You're so welcome. Get in touch with RK3.com.
Boom. Yes. All the things, all the places. Just go to get in touch with RK3.com. That's where you can find me. There are courses, resources, tips, tricks, and tools that you'll find there as well. If you want to up your storytelling game in person and or on video. And again, remember, I'm Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me. I teach you how to tell your story on stage and on video so that you can attract your ideal audience and generate more income. And let's walk out with my favorite tool here. So let's do this. So like Tatiana, I'm a Stream Decker. So I love my Stream Deck XL, but my new baby is that Stream Deck Plus. Yeah.
Okay, I have FOMO.
Yeah. I love it. Love it. All right. Deal.
Love it. Love it. Thank you once again, everybody. JP Hightek, Dr. Dwain E Woode, Tatiana Rodriguez, RK3, Robert Kennedy III. Look, I didn't ask JP and Dwain favorite gear right now. Real quick. Let's do that real fast because you know people.
Yes, okay, absolutely. My favorite gear, at least now. Can I show it to you instead of I tell you?
Yeah, show it.
Okay. It's right here, right?
Teleprompter.
This teleprompter honestly changed my flow. I mean, it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Yeah. This thing right here is something that will allow you to stay focused, right?
Yep.
Keep eye contact with the interviewer or the people you're, broadcasting with, instead of looking left. I didn't always have it. I'll set it up for other people and I'll recommend it, but I'm like, because why? I didn't want to set up a tripod and have. For me, it was a bulky setup, right? Mm-hmm. But trust me, this changed the way my brain processed things better than anything else. So teleprompter, Glide Gear TM100, amazing. I have it paired with the Lolliput A11, amazing setup here. And really, I'm not going back because I can look at, exactly what's happening without have to look at my computer or anywhere else. And it's just amazing. Makes your life a whole lot easier, folks. So if you can, get it. Yeah.
All right. Dr. D.
Man, I tell you, JP, he's just in my space and he's just grabbing all my stuff because I was about to just point at this thing right here.
Seriously.
But
Great
that's all right.
minds.
That's all right. I think if and this may be, we talked about gear acquisition syndrome, which I don't think it is. My Roadcaster would be the next thing, right?
Mine
So I'm
too.
sitting on my desk, and for some reason I can't get my camera to work right now. But that allows me to do all the things I need to do in terms of sound. So
Yes.
I've got my Stream Deck here, I've got my Roadcaster, and my teleprompter. So
Love it. And that is where we're going to walk this thing out. Because my Rodecaster Pro 2 is now my favorite.
Yeah.
Another gift from my husband that I was like, what? But now I love it. So John mentioned that earlier. I always get these gifts from my husband that I'm like, why am I getting that? But he knows. And he's not even a streamer. All right, y'all. Thank you again for coming. Thank you for spending the time with me and really for putting in the work of answering the questions from the people. And thank you, audience, for being engaged and for asking
Yes.
questions and sharing your comments and just being a part. You made this whole thing so much fun, folks. You really did. So I will look forward to seeing all of you on another panel at some time in the near future. I'm going to go ahead and get us closed out so that you can go and get a nap or whatever you do in the evenings. Glitter. Ah. All right, let me
Think
close
for you,
us out.
Tanya.
Yes, it's live stream summer school time, y'all. We have, I think, this may be the second to the last video that we're going to do as part of the series, but I'll still be back on Thursdays. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm right here. We just call it Stream Like a Boss TV because summer's almost over and we're going to head into real school time really soon. So I look forward to seeing you in future shows where we get to talk a lot about live stream marketing and how it can help you to stand out online, to serve more people, and sell more of your stuff. Thank you so much for coming. If you do have questions, if there's anything you want to know about live streaming, live stream marketing, gear, all the things that all of us were talking about tonight, plus some, definitely check out my channel over on YouTube at Tanya Smith. So it's Stream Like a Boss TV with Tanya Smith. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for participating, and we will see you later in the stream.